Hey guys, it's James with Turo Hotels. Just got back from picking up a car at the airport. Had a fantastic Valentine's, President's Day weekend. All of our cars were gone all weekend. And of course, whenever that happens, first thing you do is start looking for more vehicles. We found one, showed up, and it had sold from the time I talked to the guy to the time I drove there. That close. But today we want to talk to you guys about pricing. So I've had some people ask me about how you determine the price. Now, when we first looked and we decided to buy our 2016 Caravan, I looked at the app and I added a vehicle to see what Turo thought I should rent it for, right? And they have an automatic pricing tool. It's supposed to dynamically change based on XYZ factors and supply and demand and everything. I will tell you, when we first looked at our car, the average price that they recommended per day was $86 a day, based on, and I think it was based on the year, the number of miles that the vehicle had, and the type of vehicle that it was. So whatever that algorithm was that they used, they thought that we should rent our car out for $86 a day. Now, I'll tell you, when we first listed it, we listed it right before Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we did list it for those prices, and we did get it for either that or very near that price. Since then, we have shifted our pricing. We do not use automatic pricing for 3 out of the 4 vehicles. I have it on one vehicle kind of as an experiment just to see, and it doesn't really, I haven't noticed very much movement on the price at all. It pretty much stays at whatever I set the minimum price to, with a couple of days during spring break that have been changed. And those are the only days, you can go through and see the days on the calendar. Those are the only days that they changed, was a couple days on the automatic pricing. So the general consensus among many Turo owners is that the automatic pricing is rubbish and not to use it. Now, I will say that Turo, and speaking with them and talking to some of the corporate people there, they are dedicated to fixing it. They said that they want to keep it on there, and that they're employing machine learning, right? So the computer's figuring things out and then applying these algorithms and stuff to make it so that it is good. And I believe that it will be good, but my experience right now, it's not very good. Additionally, when you're first looking at a vehicle, the way to find out your market is not to use that automatic price tool. We had very grandiose ideas from the get-go, because our van, based on what they said, $84 a day, my payments only, and I'm gonna make at least, if I only gotta rent it out for 8 days a month, and I'm making money. It just didn't work out that way. So you want to be competitive. Now, there's 2 different kind of schools of thought on pricing. There is optimization. So you basically want to get, utilization. There's utilization, and you're just trying to max out your utilization all the time. Basically, if a car is sitting at home, it's not making you money, therefore you're losing money. So you need to be more aggressive by lowering your prices, and it doesn't matter kind of what the price is. You got to find that sweet spot and lower your price till you get that car out of your parking lot. And that has a lot of pros and cons. It's true that when it's sitting at home, it's not making you money, but it's not true that if it's sitting at home, it's better than if you just rented it out for the minimum, which on Turo is $10. If you think that you should rent out your car for $10 a day, I would never recommend that. There's really not a mileage point where it makes sense to try to do that. I have seen people kind of, their strategy anyway, is to lower the mileage down to the lowest number possible, which is 100 miles a day, and they lower the price down to just right there, and then they charge like $3, $4, $5 per mile. I shouldn't say $5. I haven't seen $5, but I have seen $3 to $4 that the people have priced these things for. And hey, that's a technique. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Certainly after the fact of a renting from you, and then trying to say, hey, you owe me $500 for these mileage you went over. That seems dishonest to me. So we don't do that. We do have a little bit higher than the average mileage, and we do keep our miles kind of low, but not to the point where it's a I got you. We're trying to build Turo in our community here in El Paso to be friendly and good, and talking with some of the other owners that are already here when we're trying to network, and we really want people to have a good experience on Turo. Because at its core, when Turo is working, it works so well. So utilization is obviously key, but then there's also getting your money's worth, and not putting a car out there and undervaluing what it is you're putting out. So if you're putting out, there's that sweet spot of what your price should be, and you've got to find it, and it's trial and error. It's spending a lot of time on the app looking at other people. If you have successful people in your area and they have the most bookings, we'll find out why. Find out why they have those bookings. Add those cars to your favorite cars, and then look at them from time to time and see what it is that makes them successful, or what is the price they're getting rented out at. When they're booked, how long are they being booked for? You won't have that information on a normal day-to-day basis unless you add those as your favorites. You go back to them, you check on them, you research the topics. And what you want to do, there's a fine line between being competitive and lowering your price, and trying to undercut the competition. But that like I said, that's a fine line. As soon as you start doing that and you get into that price wars with other owners in your area, then it becomes not conducive to a profitable business for anyone. So certainly the $10 a day shooters, I wouldn't try to get into that game. You want to get value for your vehicle, and if that value is not being seen, then what I would recommend is that you do more to highlight the value of that vehicle. I'm in a 2016 Dodge Grand Caravan, or 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's old. There's nothing out there that is this old. In my market, I'm the only one that has this van out there. So I'm not renting it out to businessmen who are coming in from out of town and want to have a nice vehicle. We're renting it out to families. We're renting out to single soldiers and to people that fly in and they just need something cheap that will get them where they're going. But the value of this vehicle, when you compare it to what else is available, is that there has no competition. There's not another 7-seater passenger vehicle that you can get in our market for $30 a day. And if you want a 7-passenger seater from the airport or from one of the big guys, it's $100 a day. I mean, period. Like there's really nothing here that can compare to that. Now they're giving unlimited miles, which is something we do not do, and I wouldn't recommend giving unlimited miles with your vehicle. That sounds like a challenge to me. So don't. I wouldn't recommend doing unlimited miles. I'd keep them at a reasonable rate, and then there have been times when we adjust those individually. But find the value, build the value in your vehicle. Highlight the fact that, listen, my vehicle is a third the price of what you can get another vehicle for. It's reliable. It still has all the amenities. It's got a DVD player. It's got music. It's what else do you need really? And when you highlight that and you build that value in your product, people are happy to pay those prices. Again, utilization versus the value. You don't want to screw yourself by going too low. And you got to kind of balance my car's not making me money mentality with, do I really want, if I'm putting my car up for $10 a day and someone's putting 200 miles on my car, what is the depreciation per mile? And does it make sense for me to do that? And I believe the answer is no, and I wouldn't recommend it to you guys. But get out there, find those sweet spots, research your market, and then when you jump in there, I love it because there's no risk. If it doesn't work out, you delist it, and then you're back to where you were on square one. If it does work out, you end up with half a dozen, 50, 200 cars and a fleet. But you can build this business to be what you want it to be, and at the end, you still have assets, though they are depreciating. So thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. I will try to. Actually, I won't. I get to every single question. I will answer them. So let me know. I appreciate if you subscribe. Please subscribe if this is helpful to you guys at all. And you guys have a good day. Go Army.